All right, let me stop. All right, so readers of the book will know why I was looking like that. Whatever. But anyway, World of Wonders by Aimee. Hope I said this correctly. Aimee Nezhukumatathil. Aimee Nezhukumatathil. I hope I said that correctly. But just a book of World of Wonders. And the this is not a typical read that I would review that I would do. And the reason I did, it's a story behind it. The reason I I was actually going into Barnes and Nobles, the Barnes and Nobles in Bowie. That's a really good Barnes and Nobles there. They cater to the community a lot of, because Bowie is like predominantly African American, and they cater to that community. It's a lot of African American kind of book stuff you're looking for. Most of the time, they have it, which is good. A lot of, of course, you always got to go online for certain real things that's very hard to find, very rare. But for the most part, they have it, which is good. So anyway, I was going into the Barnes and Nobles in Bowie Town Center, and when I went in there I was actually going in to get another book, and it was a guy that was out front, and they was going over Barnes and Noble's book of the year. And it had someone was there, and they were showing the book and saying, hey, this book of the year, check it out, the whole bit. But what ended up happening was one of the managers actually came over. They saw me over there, and they came over, and he presented, was explaining everything, what was the book about and all that. And I said, okay, you know what, I'll do that. I do reviews. And I said, this will be a good one. So then I asked him, Barnes and Noble's book of the year. That's a big deal, for the whole Barnes and Noble's, for it to be their book of the year. And it's actually the people that work there, the people that buy the books, the sellers, management, workers, everybody that pertains to with actually doing books with Barnes and Nobles. They voted on it. There was several books, and this is their book of the year. So I said, okay, you know what? These are all the readers and stuff. Let me see what's going on. Typically this isn't something that I would read. I wouldn't pick it up, but because he brought it to my attention, I said, all right, let me check it out. Where he went over. So usually with my reviews, I'll go over what the writer what they wrote about, and I'll also go over what I think. So basically, what the book is about 30 different short essays that Aimee went over about different her favorite plants and her favorite animals, and she did a good job with it, and going over as far as like the different animals, their nature, how they behave in nature, their behavior, a lot of their characteristics and stuff like that. And when I was starting to get into the book, I didn't really get it until I got about almost halfway into the book, and then I said, "Whoa, wait a minute, is this what she's doing?" And what was going on was that she was talking about the animals and different plants, but I caught it when she was the stories that she was going over with the animals, because she was talking about the animals, but she was also talking about her life and her experience with these different animals, because she traveled. Oh, and Aimee is she is I guess you want to say a Filipino and Indian American. So I mean, she went over her experience in life, as far as the struggles that she went through as a young girl growing up and being in a predominantly white area, and she was teased, and they talked about her being dark, and her native, the things that her parents would show her about the Philippines, and and India and all that, and they would and she would get teased for it, for expressing her culture. So when she talked about that, but it's weird how she did it, because not weird, but it's interesting how she did it, because she went into her personal life, but she mixed in her life with, she was talking about the animals and their nature and our nature with the animals, and how that play a role in in our lives, and how it played a role in her life. And it took a few of her essays for me to get it, and I said, oh, this is what she's doing. I said, I get it now. But I like I said, I've never read a book like that where somebody was able to mix all of that in like that. I'm sure there's other books out there like that, but I haven't read anything like this. So where she is where she's able to mix it, really well. Like she went over one story. It was she was in a aquarium, and it was the whale was there. I forget what kind of whale it was, but she explains what exactly which whale it was. Anyway, and it was a whale, and the whale would swim upside down, and but it wouldn't attack don't attack people, but she had went into like how the whale lives, how he flips upside down, how he swims, how he acts in nature. How the different characteristics. She went into other animals, a lot of different animals that she went over, in the book. But what stood out, the animals stood out, the plants stood out. But again, my opinion on it is that what stood out more was how she went into her life story as far as the things she went through, and mixing it in with nature, and the animals, and obviously she's a animal lover, a nature lover, and a lover of human beings. So she was able to mix all that in together, and I thought that was really interesting, thing for her to do. Like I said, and it's not a long book, not a big book. Like I said, it's 30 short essays, easy read. You'll keep up with it. It's almost like it's entertaining because it's almost got a feel of like an adult kind of bedtime story, where you're reading something and it's not, you don't have to try hard. It's not a strain, you're just reading it and getting just a nice little short little essay poem, from it. So, yeah. But I think it's good. But and it really intrigued me. I said, well, let me see what all of the readers are saying. If they voted on this book, it got to be something there. But what I thought really, in my opinion, like I said, I'm gonna tell y'all my opinion. What my opinion on it was that I just felt like that it really just how she blended it all, her life story plus everything else. I said, wow, that's interesting. I haven't seen it done like that. So she did a good job. Let me see what else I can add. I would say, I mean, pretty much, pick it up. Oh, and I did like when she was making her points and she was throwing the boom in there. I do that, a lot. But like she would say, yeah, this point about about nature and oh yeah, and when she went over to the fireflies, she went over with that. I thought those statistics and points that she was making was interesting. She went over with the fireflies, how there used to be a lot more of them, they're dying off, and how with all the lights and stuff that we have around now, the fireflies, they will create lights, and if we have all these lights, they don't light up, so they they die off. And so but it was interesting, and how like the kids that she teach and stuff, that a lot of them haven't even seen fireflies. And as I was reading, I was like, what, it's not a lot of fireflies. I don't even see a lot of fireflies, even when I travel. You got to go really deep down in the south or something, see it when it gets really dark, at night. Not a lot of lights, street lights, and all that. But anyway, World of Wonders, great book. Anybody that's into the different kind of reads about like nature, plants, animals, and life, and again, about her being an American woman, Indian and Filipino descent, and her struggles. She blended it all wonderfully. So it definitely deserved. I can see why they gave it the book of the year. I get it. But again, like I said, it's not my typical read. But I got through it, and it was. I'm glad I did, because I don't know. Like even after the book, it has me thinking about different things with the planet, the world, and the way how we all coexist together. With the plants and animals and people. It all work out. I'm just trying to think of something else that I wanted to bring up too. Let's see. There's another point in here that I wanted to bring up. I think I did. Oh yeah, and it was illustrated by Aimee Nezhukumatathil. I hope I said that correctly. Ooh. I know how it is. Oh yeah, and I just want to go over the contents really quick. With the different maybe I don't know if y'all, but she goes over it's different 20, 30, 98. I'll just go over a few because there's a few of me. I don't want to take up time. But anyway, but she goes over like the dancing frog. She goes over the fly, like I said. The corpse flower. The whale shark. There we go. Of course, that octopus story was really good. The octopus story was good. The dragon fruit. Went over that. She went over with the octopus. I'll just say this real quick. And again, I don't like telling the whole book because I want people to want to read it. But I'll say this. So with the octopus story, she went over like with how the octopus has on all their suction cups. And anybody knows animals, they know this stuff already. But I didn't know. But that their suction cups, each suction cup, they can taste on it, they can feel with it. They can sense with it and smell. I was like, that was crazy. So each of those suction cups that's on them. So anyway, so she was just making a point that how they have all of that taste, all of that feel with them. And then looking at us, we only got one tongue to taste with and, 2 hands to feel with. But, it's a lot less that we would experience in those particular things than that the octopus would. But she did it a lot better than I'm saying it, of course. This is, her thing. What else? Yep, the bird of paradise. Yeah, but that's it. Like I said, this is a good one. This is a good one to read over with, with the kids too. With the different animals. They would like this. And just her stories with her mom and her grandmother and her dad, with her growing up. She did a good job. Seemed like she wrote it with joy. So there you go. All right, so that's it. So World of Wonders. Okay. Barnes& and Noble Book of the Year. All right. All right. Cascade Book Review. Please subscribe.